Well, let me tell you, there's another side to this whole story, and then I'll come and answer your question directly. Let us suppose that this determination of 4 million people as being non-Indians is correct. Because even when they go before the tribunal, it is quite possible that there will be a marginal change in that figure, if any. We're only postponing the real crisis that is upon us. So let us suppose it is correct that 4 million people are not Indians, right? Now, India says they're not Indians. I'm sure Bangladesh will say they are not Bangladeshis. And I'm sure Bangladesh will not open its borders and say to millions of people, please come and settle on our lands and so on and come because you are our Bangladeshis, brothers and sisters. It's not going to happen. So therefore, what is their status in international law? Their status is that of stateless people, let us say. No state accepts them as citizens. Now, statelessness is covered by a very intricate body and a very well-developed body of international law. What can India do with a stateless person? People say, let's deport them. You cannot deport them. You cannot deport them because that is forcible deportation of a stateless person. Can you put them in camps? Can you put them in jails? You cannot do that. There's a way of treating stateless people. They are fully governed by human rights law, fully governed. And these human rights instruments and their laws are incorporated in constitutional law in India under Article 21, the right to life, which covers not only Indians but also foreigners. So now what situation do you have after this foolish exercise? You have determined that there are 4 million stateless people. These 4 million stateless people, you don't know what to do. You are not permitted in international law to take them at gunpoint and put them in jail or take them at gunpoint and push them across the border. And Bangladesh will refuse entry of these people. So basically you have a people who are governed ultimately in international law, even if they are declared to be stateless, they are governed in international law by all human rights protection. They have to be treated properly, their children have to be educated, they have the right to food, they have the right to work, they have the right to all these rights. So keep them as stateless people. Where will you keep them? You'll keep them in India, obviously. You can't deport them. I like the way people are talking. I say, well, let's get rid of them. Let's push them out. You can't do that. You can't do that at all. So ultimately, when you look at it, whether the Congress is right or the BJP is right in their slanging match as to who was wrong in letting them in, even assuming they came in illegally and they've settled now for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, practically in international law, you can't do anything. And I doubt if the Supreme Court of India will allow, when they actually deal with this issue, well, they will allow you at gunpoint to push people across the border. It's a crisis of enormous proportions. And it is akin to ethnic cleansing. The biggest crime against humanity in law today is ethnic cleansing. If you forcibly push people across the border, India will be accused of ethnic cleansing of 4 million Muslims. That's a very serious crime for people for India to
Okay, some serious
undergo.
questions that you've
like
raised and highlighted.
Aung San Suu Kyi knocked off the Rohingyas. She was accused of ethnic cleansing.
She was.
So ultimately, you've got yourself into a fix. You've got yourself into a big mix-up, and you don't know what to do. And just communal talk, inciting people's, communal fervor. How does that help India? I think this is the most anti-national activity ever undertaken.
All right, Mr. Gonsalves, with very, very strong views.
Maybe illegally.
Let me go across to two of our panelists.
Move
Mr.
to make the
Gonsalves.
National Register for Citizens.
Yes, point taken.